I'm psychic, and I know that in a few minutes, you're going to want to put my sfingi in your mouth. You can call this sfingi, you can call this Zeppole, you can call this belly bombers. There's tons of names for them, but the fact of the matter is it's absolutely delicious. Growing up on Long Island, every fair that was worthwhile had these. Didn't matter if it was the Feast of San Gennaro, the Greek Church Festival, the Polish Festival, they all had Zeppole. And you always got them, it didn't matter, because they were all delicious. They're greasy, they're sweet, they're amazing, and we're going to make them, so let's get it done. We need to start off by blooming our yeast. In a measuring cup, 1 cup of your finest dihydrogen monoxide, heated up to 100 to 110 degrees and no hotter, otherwise you kill the yeast. 1 tablespoon of sugar, get yourself a spoon and stir it up, little darling. You don't have to fully dissolve the sugar, but you want it mostly dissolved. Then to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast, and then get your spoon and stir that up, little darling. You want the yeast to be moistened. You don't want to beat it to death. Just make sure everything's wet. Just like that. Now we're going to let this sit off to the side for about 10 minutes and let that yeast bloom up beautifully. You get a nice foam on top. It's amazing. Get to our dry ingredients. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to sift in 2 cups or 240 grams of all-purpose flour. Just sift it. You don't want any chunks. That's the key. You don't have to sift it in. I just like to because you never know. I want it smooth. So then to this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Get that in. Get yourself a whisk, and you're going to combine this. You just want it fairly homogeneous throughout. This way there's no pockets of anything. Shouldn't have a problem, but it's always nice to mix it in. Also, that any lumps will be beaten out in this process. So then once our yeast is done, it's beautiful, it's foamy, it's nice and bloomed, we're going to add that to our dry mix. So get your dry mix and dump it in. Give it a stir first, just to make sure everything's in suspension, if you will. Little sciencey term. Get all that in there. Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Pour it in. And then with a spoon, you don't want to do this with a whisk because this is going to be a very, very sticky batter. It's kind of going to be between pancake batter and a loose bread dough. It's kind of weird, very sticky, but that's what you want. So easier to use a spoon to mix this in. You just want the flour moistened. Just like that. It's not quite a dough and not quite a batter. Scrape off your spoon, because waste not, want not. You know what I mean? Knock it all off. Come on. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now we're going to cover this with plastic wrap, and we're going to set it in a warm spot to rise and rest for about 1.5 hours till it doubles in size. Make sure it's someplace warm. I like to stick it in my microwave, which is right above my stove, which is usually warm. And then after 1.5 hours, it comes out. It's risen, it's thick, it's bubbly. You don't want to punch the holes out of this. You need those bubbles in there. That'll help to make it nice and pillowy. Heat up about 2 to 3 inches of neutral flavored oil, canola, vegetable, whatever your preference is, to about 370 degrees. And then using 2 spoons, you're going to drop in spoonfuls. Now I make mine a little bit bigger because, small ones would just look funny in my giant mitts. So I make them a little bigger, but you can make them as big or as small as you'd like. Drop them all in. Don't overcrowd your oil. If you overcrowd it, they're going to stick together. They're not going to cook right. Then if you're not paying attention, you get stuff sticking on the side like that. But hey, all's well that ends well on that one. Get them all in, and they only take about 2 minutes per side. That first one flipped over on its ownsies. But you're going to flip them over, brown them on one side, flip them, brown them on the other. Like I said, 2 minutes per side is almost perfect. Come on. This guy wants to fight. But get them all flipped and get them all golden brown and delicious on that side. Then once they're done, looking good, we're going to drain these off on a wire rack, or you could do a plate with some paper towel. If that's your preference, you can do that. And then you're going to repeat this process with the rest of your batter. And then once they're done, the traditional way to serve this is in a plain paper bag. You just put them in a bag. I mean, you could dust them right on the sheet pan and eat right like that, serve them on a plate. But the traditional way is in a paper bag. So you get them all in the bag. Then you take your powdered sugar, dump some in there, close the bag, and then shake to disperse it. Just like that. This is the way. They serve them in bags at the fair, and you walk around with this greasy bag of goodness. It's like Santa's delicious sack. All right, that sounded a little weird, but just go with it. Trust me. But since I'm classy and I have to make a nice presentation, I'll put it on a plate. And, add a little extra sugar because they look better when they're covered in snow. And now it's time to just devour them. You want to eat these warm. You don't want to let them cool down. So warm is key. Look at how beautiful those are. They are beautiful. They smell so good. The nostalgia factor is over 9,000. Now let's stuff them in our face. The smell of this, the look of this, just brings a smile to my face. See? Smiling. I mean, down here in Florida, when we see white stuff like this, it's usually something else, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to put it in my mouth instead of my nose. Whoa. Check that out. They're soft. They're pillowy. They're crunchy on the outside. Doughy on the inside. Sweet. Amazing. So there you go. Zeppoles. Absolutely delicious. Really, really easy. Doesn't take long to make. You spend more time sitting around waiting for it to rest than you do actually prepping it or cooking it. So make this for your next barbecue. Make this for Christmas. Everyone will love you for it, and you'll love it because it's delicious. You know what I mean? If you like this, if you tried this, drop it down in the comments. If you want to see me make something, you have a suggestion, I take requests, drop that down in the comments. You want to tell me I suck? Hey, drop down in the comments. Just please make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I really appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.